So far, we have seen how to protect us from hackers, malware family, social engineering, attacks in social engineering, phishing, and also how to protect our password against brute force. So today, we are here to discuss about cyber cryptography, steganography, hashing, encoding, and also its demonstration. So today we are having our resource person is Jerry Nishan. So yesterday I have introduced him. So let me invite welcome Jerry Nishan to present this session. Welcome, Jerry.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your warm welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. So I would like to give a small description about cryptography and steganography on the given 1 hour. So we'll be seeing what is in cryptography and what are the types, as well as the crypt emails, which is like secure email services other than the normal email services which we are using day to day. Apart from that, we'll be going into steganography and what is steganography and how to perform steganography, how to hide text files in the image through a UI environment from Windows, as well as a Linux environment using some tools, how to use the tool and how to decrypt the file which is hidden from the images. So let us dive into the session. So mainly cryptography is a art of technique which makes information travel from one end to another end in a secure manner, which is like a unreadable format through a ciphertext. So it is known as cryptography basically. So we are having two types of encryption methods. It is like symmetric as well as asymmetric encryptions. When we see about symmetric encryptions, we can just say an example like sender and recipient. Let's consider sender Jerry is sending a message to Shifa, and the message shouldn't be written by any man in middle who is like attacker shouldn't read the message. So Jerry wants to text Shifa, hi Shifa, how are you? So at that time, the plain text if I'm sending through a transport layer, if I'm sending a image file or else a text file to Shifa, if a hacker tends to do a intercept between our traffic, he can read the text which I want to send. So it is like there is no security in their transport, so it will be like a kind of vulnerability. So here comes the types of encryption to make information tunnel make some more sense on security, so that the symmetric key encryption will be working like it will be having a shared key. So in that shared key, only Jerry and Shifa will be knowing the key. So when I'm sending that, it will be encrypted with the shared key, and when it is going into Shifa's mailbox, it will be decrypted by a shared key which is shared previously, so that the plain text will be visible for only for Shifa. So this is known as symmetric key encryption. And next, when we go ahead with asymmetric key encryption, it is having a two kinds of encryption, two kinds of key. The one will be a encryption key which is known as public key, and decryption key which is known as private key. So the same thing happens, but when I am sending from Jerry's message to Shifa, Jerry's message is encrypted using a public key, and the decryption will be happen only by a Shifa's private key. So Shifa's private key is only known for Shifa, not even for Jerry. So these type of techniques will be handled like password managers, as discussed on the first day session by Rohit. He explained how password manager works. So one question raised, so how can we trust them? So it will be like same thing happens. Everyone will be aware of bank jewel lockers. So you will be having a private key with you, and the banker's locker person will be having another key with them. So when they open the lock with a particular public locker key as well as yours private key, only the lock can be opened, or else it won't be open and no one can see what is inside. The same methodology is happening in the asymmetric encryption also. So it will be a very great example for this. So when you are saving the password managers, the application or holders will be having a public key with them. They'll be encrypting the data along with them. But when you are using your private key provided by the application managers in the start, only using that key only you can view the password stored inside the application. So the next topic is crypt emails, which is otherwise known as secure email services. Normally, I want to ask the audience, what are the email services you all are using? So this must be an answer. You can use the chat window so that I'll be able to see the response from you all. Gmail, okay, it is very common. Okay, that is fine. Uh, okay, we can. Most of the answers are like Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, and very rare Rediff, as well as Hotmail.com, which is again into a Microsoft account. So here we have few secure email services which gives a end-to-end encryption methodologies implemented on the application. So it is like very rare. It is like most popularly used secure email services among lots and lots of security researchers are Proton Mail, and the second is Tutanota Mail. It is these both are like very commonly used by security researchers as well as information security professionals. Also, very popular thing is like these four, mailbox.org and scriptmail.com. So these four are very highly secured encryption implemented mail servers, which provides you a very clear as well as tunneled network, which can't be that easily encrypted, decrypted, or if any attacker tends to hold your account, or else he's like satisfied your account and he got your passwords and everything, even though if he doesn't knows the passcode of the email, he can't see the encrypted messages. So I would like to show you a small demo on this email services. So I'm just dropping a mail for and I'm just showing you another one thing. CC I'm adding. So this is the UI of Tutanota email services. So it is like I want to send a message to Rohit Gautam and Shifa with CC. So it is like I'm just going to sender is like Auliolf, which is my personal email ID of Tutanota, and the language even you can change, as well as the password for hacker.udemy. It is Rohit. So I'm just going to set a password. Say Rohit @123, as well as for Shifa I am setting Shifa @321. So this is I am setting a password for both of them, and now I am adding the subject. It's very confidential, and I want to add a message to them. So I want to send a confidential data to these both. Only these both should open this email. So now I am going to send the email to Rohit as well as Shifa, my team. I want to send. So I am sending the mail to them. So the mail is sent. So I would request Shifa or Rohit to share the screen so that audience will be aware and how it works. They'll be aware of that. Can anyone please?
Yes,
Jerry.
Jerry.
Yeah. So
Okay, Rohit, you
Okay, I'm sharing the screen.
yeah, welcome.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, Rohit, it is visible.
Yeah, so I have got a mail just now
Yes.
from this email, which is Wolf Oli. Confidential email from Wolf. So I will just click on that particular email. You can see over here, confidential email from Wolf. This particular email address. Hello, you have just received a confidential email via Tutanota. And it says that it encrypts the mail automatically end to end, and I cannot see the mail. If I want to see the mail, I need to click over here, which is show encrypted email, or I can just click on this particular link. Any of them will work. So let me just click over here. It is going to ask me a password. So Jerry, can you share the password?
Oh yeah, Rohit. Rohit @123. R caps.
R caps
Rohit @123.
123. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I will just click on show encrypted email, and I think this is the email you send it, right?
Yeah, Rohit. Yeah. You can just view.
Yep. So hi team, hi. Hereby attaching an email which is very confidential, invited to St. Xavier's Faculty Development Program 2020. Thanks and regards.
So thank you, Rohit.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I will stop sharing.
Okay, Rohit. Thank you so much. So, what is our takeaway from this topic right now is when I am sending a very confidential data with my team, it is like I am encrypting a data with a passcode for not even a team member should have a common password, so that Shifa is having an individual password which is common to only me and Shifa, so that no others can no others can like interrupt the request, or even Rohit can't see the Shifa's message which I am sending. Again, Rohit, I am setting a common password. So whenever I am sending a request, I can use the same passcode, which is only known for Jerry and Rohit as well as Jerry and Shifa. So that the data which is transferred from Jerry to Rohit or Jerry to Shifa is very confidential, even though if attacker is compromising Rohit's account or Shifa's account, he can't see the message which I am sending. He can only get the encrypted email link, so that even it can't be brute force that easily, because these secure email servers will be having a they'll be setting some limits, so that if any wrong attempts of 1 to 3, you can't view the email again. It will be you can even set to delete the email once the message is viewed for one time. So it is like very secure email services which are used by security researchers. The Proton Mail also has the same environment and same configurations you can do with that. Also, Tutanota is the best I feel, and I used to do these email services. and the same comes with these two also, but most popular and most widely used is Proton as well as Tutanota Mail among our security researchers, which they feel it is mostly secure. And again, we are going to see about steganography, which is a very interesting topic. And what is steganography means. So I felt this image covers a very good explanation. So I just dropped this text image file directly into that. It is a Greek word which is like covered writing, and art and science of writing hidden messages in such a way that no one apart from the intended recipient even knows that a message has been sent. So again, it is like coming to a part. It is a it is similar to cryptography, but it is something we are going to hit a text file with a. It is having many sorts of types. It will be like changing some characters, rotating the characters, so that only when a recipient who is familiar with you only can guess, okay, what the information is about to say and what the information is about to reach us. Again, it is like we can other type of steganography, we can say it in a way. It is a font of hiding text files or audio files into a video or else into an image file. It is also known as steganography, and you're having a steganography types and how to perform that. So very first method is steps to perform steganography using UI. If you are a Windows user, you can just go through this URL. So I'm just going into Future Boy. So this is the UI of steganography tool, which is developed by futureboy.us. So I want to just have an image file. So I'm taking a encode an image. So you want to click this option. So once done, it will give you and it will be redirected to futureboy.us/techno/n-input.html. So here you can see the UI. You want to select JPEG or audio AU format or WAV file format to upload. So I'm just selecting an image file in pictures. So I'm just selecting this. Okay. I'm selecting this image. So it is information forensics.jfif. So if you want to add a password file, you can add, or else I can just type a image, type a text which I want to hide into that particular image which I have uploaded. That is information source forensics.jfif. So I'm just, for a demo purpose, I'm giving a small text. Hi, I am a hacker. So if you want to upload some file, payload, like payload in the sense, if you want to bind any payloads for attacking purpose, or else if you want to share any file with the file to be binded with this image, you can use that file upload functionality. So for a demonstration purpose, I am using a normal text and I am clicking submit. So it is asking me to where to save the file. So I'm just using GIF. Okay, I'm saving this in pictures. So it is saved. So now I'm just going to open this image to show you whether you can find anything visible that, hi, I am a hacker. Even if you zoom, you can't see where it is saved. So again, to the part how to decode this image. So I'm just going to again a second option is there, decode an image. So in this image, I'm just going to choose file and I want to select that Stegino. So Stegino.gif. So I'm just opening this. So it is like view raw. Okay, I'm using select text or guess the payload I can give, and now I'm submitting this request. See, it is giving me the text which I have binded with the image. Hi, I am a hacker. So this is a method of using FutureBoy Stegino using a UI format in in Windows environment as well as Linux environment. Also, you can use the same thing. But the main and important thing is, again we are having one more option of comparing two images. So I'm just going to compare. One is which I have uploaded a file. So this is the first file which I have uploaded, and second is Stegino. So this one, I'm just going to do this. So enhance difference. I am selecting this option so that you will be getting the difference in the images. So the blue marks which are showing is the difference with the images, so that you will be knowing, okay, something is binded into it. So this is a first way for performing steganography using Windows or any Linux environment using a UI. So next step, we are going to see about steps to perform steganography using command line in Linux environment. So it is a step to install a StegHide. I am using StegHide tool for steganography to perform in Linux environment. So sudo is like for super user. So you are installing the user. So app get install of StegHide. So it will take short duration of time, and the tool will be get installed in your Linux environment. And let's see it in a environment. I'll show you. Sudo app get. So I am installing this. So I have already installed that, so that it is showing like 0 upgraded and 0 newly installed. So let's dive into Steg, and if I hit tab, the command will be get completed. So we can see lots and lots of options into this tool. So it is like embed is to embed data, and extract is to extract the data, and hyphen info about the information about the particular file. And if you like hit StegHide encryption info, it will show you what are the various types of encryptions available using this tool. Also, if you want to set a passphrase, you can use this -p parameter, and for v, it is like it will be giving you what are the options available for this StegHide tool. So I'm just using. First of all, let me show you. So I have taken this hidden.txt. I'll show you what are the file I have used in. So this is a file which I have written in a hidden.txt file. I am a hacker. Welcome to SXECE FTP 2020. This is a file which I am going to hide into an image. Let me show you the image. So here I have used this source image.jpg. Into this source image.jpg, I'm going to hide this cat hidden text hidden.txt. So the command which you want to
ஆப்டிடியூட் டெஸ்ட் நம்ம ஸ்டூடண்ட்ஸ் எடுக்கிறது இல்லையா? எல்லா டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்லயும் கன்சிஸ்டன்ட்டா எடுக்கறாங்களாமா? நாம ரெண்டு கிளாஸும் சேர்த்தே 60 ஸ்டூடண்ட்ஸ் தான் ஆப்டி டெஸ்ட் எடுக்கறாங்களா? அதனால ஹெச்ஓடி மேம் மீட்டிங் போட சொன்னாங்க.
Participants, kindly mute your audio.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So this is a command to use for embedding a text into a image or any file into any source file which you want to embed a particular file format into another file format. So I am using StecHide or StecHide space embed, which is used to embed a particular file into another file. So CF is a parameter which is used -CF, and I am giving a path where I am having a source image. So it is, I am having this into, you can see cd/root/pictures. In apart from this /pictures, into this pictures only I am having this source image.jpg. So I am mentioning that path here, or else you can simply drag and drop that file into here so that it will complete the path. So it is like /root/pictures/source_image.jpg -ef and hidden text. So it is, I am in root directory, so I am mentioning the hidden.txt alone. So I am giving this. It is asking me enter passphrase. I am not giving. Re-enter password. So I am again not giving. So embedding hidden.txt in /root/picture in this particular directory is done. So now we have successfully embedded the hidden.txt into source image.jpg. So let me show you the image. Pictures, I'm going into pictures, and source image is this. There is no change, or there is no we can't find anything into this. So if I'm sending to Rohit without knowing, he's like, okay, Jerry is my friend, he's sending me some images. So if he's like randomly accepting the image and if he's opening, we can do some kinds of attacks into that, so that even when you're doing you can just go to Stegno and you can just check cross check whether the image is having, or whether the image or file is having any payload in it or not, so that you can confirm, okay, there is no. So for another one cross check, I can just show you one more time with a Stegno boy. Second, sorry. Future boy. I'm just going here and I want to decode a image. So I'm choosing the file which is not embedded. See, so it is the image. I'm just going to this. So I want to submit. You can see a message error. This file may not contain steganographic data, or you may have specified an incorrect password. So there is nothing embedded. So it is showing an error for me. So you can confirm or cross check mitigations for this. So let's go into how to decrypt the text hidden into this file. So the command is StecHide extract sf/root So if I want to decrypt this and I want to save it in another file format. So I'm just showing you the command what to be written. So I want to write StecHide extract to to extract the particular text or whatever being embedded into source image.jpg and -xf, and here the change is to embed we are using cf, and into the file so we are using ef, and to extract we are using sf like source file, and we want to save it in particular file, so it should be different so that you can confirm the same file is retrieved from source image. So I am using xf, and another file I am mentioning. So I'm going stack tab extract sf. Now I am going to mention the file directory root pictures source and xf to which file I want to save the content. So I'm just using, already we have a file hidden.txt, so I'm using hidden reveal.txt so that we are going to reveal that. So I'm not giving any passcode. Wrote extracted data to hidden reveal.txt is successful. So the file which is being embedded into the source image.jpg is extracted into hidden reveal.txt. So let's check. First, I'm just going to show you what the file I have written in. So let me show you this. I am a hacker ... welcome to. So again I am going to open reveal.txt. So you can see whatever I have embedded into the file is extracted being the very same, so that whatever you are embedding, you can retrieve the file using these commands. So basically for a very if you are like a security researcher, you will be going into zero trust model like that. Anyone who is sending, even your friend or anyone, you should go ahead with analyzing what file is sent to me, and is it relevant for me, and why he is sending. You can raise these many questions and you can analyze the image. So in normal case, when anyone is sending you a file stating like, okay, I'm just sending I'm an attacker, so if I want to send a email to HOD or HOD ma'am or HOD Antokumar sir, I want to send a file stating like, okay, your salary is being credited, and I am attaching a Word file. So at that time, if he is like directly opening the file, it may go wrong, and I might have attached some payloads which is like I want to attack Antokumar, so that I want to see what are the confidential data he's having in his laptop or his personal PC, whatever may be. So I can do these possibilities. So in those case, what he can do is, why Jerry should send me salary? So he can raise a question and he can just go to FutureBoy or these things so that he can find, okay, something is fishy or not, or else he can directly call me and ask me, or else just ignore that. Don't be very jealous and I want to open that, okay, somehow he has sent me some money. Don't open something irrelevant to you so that you'll be caught into trouble. This is a takeaway from steganography as well as cryptography. And for a time being, actually our topics were almost done. So we are having one more good topic, which I would request. I feel like it will be a right person to give a very nice explanation to you guys. So I would invite Mr. Rohit Gautam to explain PGP encryption for how to implement that. He'll be giving a short demo on that. Let me welcome Rohit Gautam.
Yes. Hello, Jerry. Thank you.
Yeah, Rohit. So can you please share your screen? I'm stopping that.
Sure.
Yeah, Rohit. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yep. So my screen is visible.
Yeah, Rohit, it is visible, so you can continue with that.
Okay. So thank you so much, Jerry, for explaining us about how encryption decryption works asymmetric, symmetric, as well as in the last you told us about steganography, StegHide, Future Boy, and we understood that how steganography works. There is one thing called as PGP, okay, that we are just going to discuss. So this is exactly what Jerry did, but the automated way. So he just used the particular email service like Proton Mail or Tutanota, okay. So let's understand that what actually happened in the background and how we can do it our own manual way by handling our own public and private keys. Okay. So what actually is PGP and how it works. So as you can see on the left hand side, here is a cat and on the right hand side is a dog. They both want to communicate to each other by sending an email. So let's say this cat wants to send an email to this particular dog. So what this cat is going to do is, it is going to take a message, which we call it as a plain text. Let's say the message is hello. The message is going to get encrypted, okay? The message is going to get encrypted using the dog's public key. We always encrypt our message with the recipient's public key, okay? So once the message is being encrypted, this is asymmetric encryption. Actually, that happens in PGP. Then the encrypted text message is sent to the recipient, in this case, the dog. Then it is going to decrypt the message using its own private key. Okay? So here we conclude that every one of us has a key pair, a public key as well as a private key. And then the dog is going to decrypt the message to the plain text that is hello. And finally, he is able to see the message. So this is how actually asymmetric encryption works, and asymmetric encryption principle is applied for PGP as well. Broadly, if we talk about PGP, most of the times it is used for email communications only. So what are the main uses of PGP encryption? The first most important main use is sending and receiving of encrypted emails, verifying the ID of an encrypted message sender, and encrypting files stored on your devices or the cloud. You can also encrypt your devices by your own public and private keys, and you can save them in a secure manner. So in some case, let's say your emails have been compromised. So even the attacker, if he sees the email, he won't be able to understand because everything will be encrypted and in a gibberish format, which cannot be understood by anyone. Okay, so this is how actually PGP works. The full form of PGP is pretty good privacy. So I'm going to show you a practical. First, let's see how PGP is used into our day-to-day life. So I have just opened some of the websites, okay, to which I can communicate on their bug bounty program, and they all say, let's say if you want to communicate to us, they say, if you want to report vulnerabilities to a security analyst, if you need to encrypt your payload or your report, we strongly recommend that you use the public GPG key. It is also called as PGP or GPG. Okay, so they are telling use this key and encrypt the report and send, so that if anyone is sitting in between and if anyone sees that report, they will not be able to encrypt it in between, the hacker. Similarly, this website, so it is saying email your findings at this and encrypt your findings using our PGP key. Okay? If I just download the PGP key, then how it looks, let me just show you. I'm going to show you how you can create your own PGP key, public key, private key pair. Let me just show you how it looks. Begin PGP public key block. This is the public key block. As you can see, it is a very long strings that has been generated. Okay, and this is how it looks. How we are going to generate? We're just going to see it right now. See, this one more website. Here is the PGP key. Facebook even has its own PGP key. Every website in this world has the PGP keys available. So in case you want to send some encrypted messages to them, you can always send them. This is Apple's PGP key. If you want to communicate to Apple, if you want to send a email, a support email, you can see over here. As a good security practice, you should validate PGP keys to receive and not trust keys that have not been validated. And you can send an email to them using their PGP key. Perfect. So we understood that PGP is used widely for encryption of emails so that the email is not being sent in the plain text and remains secure. Okay. So how to do this? A very, very simple way to do this is to download an extension which is MailVelop. So I will just show you MailVelop, VELOPE, envelope part. Okay, so it is called as MailVelop Chrome extension. You just need to go over here, and it is totally free of cost. You can just install it. So after you install it, you can see I have added it. It is just very simple. Just click on add. It will come something like this. Okay. So once you can see, it will be added over here. So let me open the dashboard and show you how it looks. It looks something like this. Let me just go to my manage keys, and you can see in my key management, I have generated private key for these two accounts, hacker.udemy, hacker.udemy1@gmail.com. So let me just show you how you can generate your own public key private key pair if you have not done yet. I will just click on this generate button, and you can see I can type the name and the email address for the email that you want to generate the keys. Remember, here you need to put the email address of yours, which will a PGP key, which is a public and private key, will be generated for that particular email for secure communication. You can also enter a password. Okay, this is an extra layer of security where you can enter the password. If I click on advanced, and you can see the algorithm which is used. Okay, so they are using RSA algorithm, which is considered as one of the strongest algorithms. And key size. Key size, there are two key sizes available over here. Key size is nothing but if you increase the key size, then your public key and private key entropy will increase. By entropy will increase, I mean it will become more harder to guess or to basically crack if anyone wants to crack the particular key. So it will basically take n number of millions of years if anyone wants to crack a 4096 bit key. Okay. You can also put a key expiration date. Let's say you want this key to get expired in 1 year. So you can choose over here. I'm not choosing anything. You can just enter the password and you can click on generate. Your keys will be generated. So I have already generated my key, and let me show you how it looks. You can see Rohit's private key has been generated. Stated is valid, which means this key has not been expired. As you can see over here, in expires I have put never. So this key is never getting expired. If you want, you can put it expiry date. Okay. So let me just go over here, export. If I click on export, yeah. So if I click on export, you can see over here public, private, and all. So this is my public key. Okay. So the keys that we were looking for on these websites everywhere. Okay. I have also generated my same public key. I can send this particular public key to anyone, and they can use my public key to send me a message. Once I have received the message, I can decrypt it using my private key that has been generated over here. Remember, the most important step, never ever lose your private key or never ever send this private key to anyone. So the best practice would be quickly download this private key. So I can just go into all, and let me just export this. Okay, so you can see I have downloaded my private key, which is over here. Okay, so remember, always keep your private key in a safe and secure location into your computer or anywhere which you have a local access. Okay, or you can also save it on Dropbox, Google Drive, or any cloud service. Okay, so remember, if you lose your private key, all the messages that you will get with your this public key will not be decrypted by you. You will not be able to do it if you lose this particular private key. So now we understood the importance of both the keys. Okay, cool. One more thing you can do it, you can just take this particular public key and you can host it anywhere online on your website, and you can say, you guys can send me a encrypted secure message. This is my PGP public key. Use this key to send me encrypted messages, and then I'll be able to decrypt it. Okay. So once you have generated your keys, you can just upload it to two particular places. First is the MIT PGP public key server. This is a very big database of PGP keys which are collected worldwide. Okay, you can just submit your key over here, and then you can search the name or the email address, and it will show the key. Okay. Second way is Mailwulf. Mailwulf has their own key servers. Okay, so you can see my public key for this particular email. If I go on home, you can see over here. If I click over here, open PGP key upload. Okay, you can upload your public key over here, and then you can send the link to anyone. Okay, my key has been saved. This is my key. Utilize my key and send me a message. You can do a key lookup also if you want to search about someone. If you want to remove your key from here, you can also remove it by entering your email address. Okay. One important thing to understand, do not worry, your public key is only for public access. So don't think if I'm uploading my keys any on these particular types of website, it is not secure. Anyways, you have to put it anywhere on the websites for the public to access it. Okay. Because giving out your public keys is not a security issue. It is meant for the public to use it to encrypt your messages. Remember, do not upload your private key anywhere, because that is when things will go wrong if you upload your private key to others. Because they can download your private key, and then your public key is already available everywhere. Decrypt your messages easily. Okay, so let's see a quick demonstration that how we can encrypt a message and decrypt a message using this. So what I'm going to do is, I have already sent a message, which you can see. Here is the message which says testing email. I have sent an email to myself. Okay, it is very simple to send an email to yourself or anyone. Once you add Mailwulf, you can see here. If I zoom, you can see an icon like this. This is the Mailwulf's icon. If I click over here, you can see the recipient that you want to send an email to. So let's say I want to send an email to myself again. aka.udemy@gmail.com, and let's say testing, I type this is a secure message. Okay, a message I type, this is encrypted. Encrypt me. Okay. If you want to do any attachments, you can also add attachments over here. Okay, but I don't want to make any attachments over here. Sign the message as. Okay, so if you want, you can even sign the message. Okay, so sign the message basically means to add the public key. So I will just hit submit, and you can see, please enter your key password to sign this message. So you remember, guys, when we are creating the private key, it asks us for a password. Okay, so I will just quickly type my password. Once I type my password, the email is sent successfully. Okay, so let's see if we receive an email. Yeah, you can see we have received a message which says this is a secure message. Okay, once I click on this particular message, you can see over here, this is encrypted. Decrypt me, please. So by default, Mailwulf tries to find your private key because it has stored your private key. You can see over here, and it tries to decrypt the message. So this is the decrypted format. But if you remove Mailwulf from here, then how it will look. Let me just show you the encrypted message. So let me just click on forward. Yep. And this is how the message will look into your inbox. Okay. Let me just copy this and show you how the gibberish text looks like. Okay, so this is how actually the message will look into your inbox. Okay, so I have received from this particular email. This is my own email address. I have sent it this. The subject is, this is a secure message. To the recipient, again, my own email address. And you can see the email is this. I cannot understand what actually is written into this email because this is the encrypted format of the email that was sent. Okay, and this can only be decrypted for the intended user. The intended user is, who is the intended user? This particular user, which is hacker.udemy@gmail.com, and only this user's private key can decrypt this particular message or the email that has been sent. Okay, for our ease of purpose, Mailwulf does it automatically into a browser, and you can see the encrypted message is shown over here. Okay, so this is one of the very basic and useful thing that everyone can also utilize into your day-to-day life. I recommend using PGP encryption by encrypting your messages whenever you are doing a secure communication. Although the more this is just one time setting up your public and private keys, and you are in control of your public and private keys. You can make them expire anytime, and if you want to delete those keys, you can also delete it. Although you can also use services like Tutanota and Proton Mail, like Jerry has shown. It is very user friendly. You just don't need to do anything. Just encrypt the message with your password, and everything happens in the background automatically. But in case you want to see what actually is happening and you want to control your keys, private key, public key, and you can do it manually also. So this was one of the way to do it. I hope you guys understood this, and you can utilize this particular technique of doing secure messages, secure emails into your day-to-day life, which will be very helpful for every one of us. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, Jerry, so over to you.
Yeah, Rohit, thank you so much for your brief explanation. So I would like audience will be very clear about this topic. So it is up to end. If any queries regarding our session, you can just shoot out in the comment box or just turn on your voice and you can just ask the question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, sir.
This is about this PGP encryption, PGP key.
Okay.
So I can make public key and I can ask the people whoever send me messages to encrypt and send it.
Yeah.
So I cannot encrypt and send messages to anyone.
You can also send.
Then in that case, I have to share.
So that is what Rohit show you clearly how to send encrypted messages and how to receive messages, how to view those messages using PGP key methods.
So send the message, I should share that other key also with the person who is going to receive the message, isn't it?
Sorry?
If I have to send the message, that person
Okay.
also should be having very familiar with this PGP method of key encoding, decoding, right?
Yeah, you want to share your key so that he will be using that to decrypt the message.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically,
So Rohit,
this is.
can you please share that screen so that he'll be clear enough?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I have
That
shared my
chat and doc file so that he'll be coming to.
Okay. So no need to worry. If you have a confusion, I'll just clear it. In case any two parties want to communicate to each other, over here you can see both the parties should have a public key and a private key pair. So let's say I want to talk to Jerry. Okay. So let's say I want to send an encrypted message to Jerry. Jerry should have a public key, private key pair. If he does not have that, he is not taking part in the PGP encryption. I cannot obviously send a secure message to him. Let's say I want to send, I'll take this example again, the cat and the dog. If the cat, I think someone has muted the mic.
Yeah.
So, so here is your answer. Okay, if the cat wants to send a message to the dog, then the cat needs the dog's public key, as you can see over here clearly. Okay, if this party, the second party, does not have a public key private key pair, this cannot work. Okay, both the parties should be aware about what are the public key private key, or they can just generate both the key pairs and keep with them. Okay, so I will recommend every one of you to generate a public key private key pair and always keep it safe with you. Keep private key safe with you. You can always distribute and share the public key with everyone. Okay, so once the cat has the dog's public key, the cat can encrypt the message, send the encrypted message to the dog, and dog will be able to decrypt it using its own private key. I hope this is clear now.
Yes, sir, very clear. Now I understood the word pair when you used, I got it. Yeah, public key pair and a private key. Very nice. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. So, anyone has any more doubts, you can post those into the chat box.
So for that doubt which being asked by this person, I could just directly show this. This image will be very easy to know. So whenever you want to send a message to a recipient, you want your public key so that it will be encrypted using your public key. So when it comes to end, you want your private key to decrypt the message. So private key is for decryption part and public key is for encryption part. So now you would, any confusions?
No, sir. Clear. Very clear.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. So another one questions from admin at the MIT, according to you, sir, which is the most secure domain that we can use in our day-to-day life of sending mails? So coming to this point of which is the most secure domain, we can have a very big debate on this topic. We can't directly give you a acknowledgement that you can use this services, so it is like most secure. We can say it as it is performing better in an environment, so that we are mentioning as Tutanota, Proton Mail and Script Mails, so that it is providing you a better options and you are having better way of encryption methodologies, so that it is maintaining a security and integrity of users messages from end-to-end connection. So we are like in each and every case, security is not a direct methodology of giving, okay, you can implement this and it is a secured manner. We can't say like that. It is a step by step of approaching, entering into a secure environment. So if it is just, you can go ahead with the later topics. We are using a normal key. We can prepare a duplicate key. So another, when we are, so you want to stop that key duplication, so you are using fingerprint. Even nowadays fingerprint can be bypassed. So if you are going into a password, strong passwords, even if you are using a strong password, you can't say that is very safe. It can also be brute force. So security measures are like based on yours, each and everyone's personal awareness and how to be secured. So you can give a multi-step of security measures so that you will be most safe. It is not like directly we can't explain this. It will be a very big debate. So you be aware of security threats and whatever, how you are using your services and what are the features given by security services. So make sure you are using every services so that you will be better and you will be secured most enough.
Okay, dear participants, if you have any more queries, please ask.
Dear host, can you please give a GIST of today's session? Yeah, we can share. Actually, after this FTP program, we are about to share a PDF file comprising of 6 days topics which are covered and what are the methodologies we have explained. But it will take a couple of weeks. But sure, we will be sharing with the management, and the management will be taking care, sending to each and every participants.
Yeah, so one more question there's one more question into the chat box. Sir, these keys will be provided by the third party, right? So in case you are using services like this, these keys will be provided by them. But if you do not want these keys to be provided by them, you can also self-generate your keys, okay, into your own computer. You can generate those keys easily by a software called as SSH Keygen, through which you can generate the key manually into your computer using your own randomness. Okay, so if you do not trust these websites, and if you see, okay, I do not want to use this public key, private key, which has been generated from this
Sir,
particular.
today also I am unable to chat.
In case you have any doubt, you can tell me your doubt. Well, let me just finish this particular answer, then we can take up your doubt as well, ma'am. Okay.
Sorry?
In case you have any doubt, ma'am, we can take up your doubt. Let me, I'll just finish this particular question and then we can take up your doubt as well. If you're not able to chat into the chat box.
Okay, sir. Because I cannot receive the feedback link.
Ma'am,
Okay.
feedback forms will be, yeah, I will ask Arun sir or Brightjo sir to directly email you so that you'll be receiving the email as forwarded like yesterday. He will be sharing you.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. So no
Thank you.
worries. If you're having any doubts, you can shoot out here using your voice mail.
Okay.
We will be replying to you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you. Welcome.
Yep. So you can make your own keys into your computer, and you can utilize those keys for encryption and decryption. Okay. You can generate the keys using a software called as SSH key generator. Okay. Fine.
Rohit sir, just repeat that. SH key generator.
It is SSH space key hyphen generator, GEN, SSH key gen.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. So someone also asked, is it safe end-to-end security in WhatsApp? WhatsApp also uses the same method, that is asymmetric encryption. Okay, so it is safe because whenever we create our account, the public key and private keys are made. So at that time, whenever your communication is started with any recipient, so let's say I am talking with Jerry, our chats and calls are being end-to-end encrypted. That means that there is a secure communication which is happening, and how the communication is happening, the same funda that we have saw of public key, private key, encryption, decryption. So any messages that I send to Jerry, I have the public key of him into my particular phone or the WhatsApp servers. So that particular message will be encrypted with Jerry's WhatsApp public key. And when the message has been sent to Jerry, the message will be decrypted with his private key, and he will be able to see that particular message. That's why, guys, sometimes what happens, you must have observed in WhatsApp, some messages take time to receive. So let's say in your phone, you can see the message has been received, but it says that verifying the message or wait for some time, the message has been received, but after some time, you'll be able to see that. Why? The message should be seen instantly. But sometimes what happens, the WhatsApp servers, due to the traffic onto those particular servers, and because of some more reasons, the server is not able to immediately verify the public key as well as the private key of the user. So once you have received the message, it is not able to decrypt it. So after some time, it again tries to decrypt it, and then at that time, you are able to see that particular message into your inbox. So at the end, if I would like to summarize, it is end-to-end encryption is safe, and you can always rely on that.
Rohit, I can still see the confusion. There is one message. Can you brief once again how it is practically possible to encrypt with one public key and decrypt with another private key? This is not
Okay.
like there is a confusion, a lot of confusion here. Like I guess they mentioned that public and private key are the mathematical combinations of each other. Hmm?
Okay. So let me
If
do
you
one
can
thing.
share your screen and then share that Ellie's Bob example, so I guess it will be more clear.
My screen is visible to everyone.
Yeah, Rohit.
Yes, Rohit.
So,
Using this, yeah.
so in case anyone has confusion, let me just explain it quickly in just 2 minutes. So it will be very, very clear with everyone. Okay. So as you can see here, there are two parties, Bob and Alice, who wants to talk to each other. And let's say Bob wants to send a message that is, I like you, to Alice. Let's say Bob likes Alice. Okay. And Bob is going to send this message. How Bob is going to send the message, we'll just see into the next slide over here. Okay. So here it's vice versa. Okay. Now let's think Alice is this side and Bob is this side, and Alice wants to send a message to Bob saying, I like you. So how Alice is going to do? First and foremost thing, remember everyone has a key pair. A key pair is a public and a private key that you guys can generate. You can always generate from websites like online. There are so many websites to generate a public key, private key pair. But if you want to generate your own key pair, you can also generate using SSH key-gen. This is the particular software that you can use to generate your own public key, private key pairs. Okay. So once you have generated your key pair, save it with you. Okay. So let's say Alice wants to send a secure message to Bob. Alice is going to take the public key of Bob and own private key to encrypt the message. Okay. Remember again, Alice is going to take own's private key and Bob's public key to encrypt the message. Why Bob's public key? Because Alice wants to send a secure message to Bob, and Alice cannot obviously use Bob's private key because the key already learned that the private key is your private property. You cannot share your private key with anyone. So obviously Alice is going to take which key? Which key is left now? Public key is only left. So Alice will take Bob's public key. Okay. And whenever Alice or any user who's taking a recipient's public key has to utilize its own private key to encrypt the message. Remember the small funda. You cannot use someone's private key to encrypt the message. So you will always use the other party's public key and your private key. So once you have used both these keys, and you will encrypt this particular plain text message into an encrypted format. Okay. Into this encrypted format, you can see over here the public key is used of Bob to encrypt the message. Once the message has been encrypted, we call it as ciphertext. The ciphertext has been sent to the recipient. The recipient will receive the ciphertext, and the recipient will decrypt it using its own private key. So here again, the same principle you have to see. Bob will not use someone else's private key. Bob is going to use their public key and use its own private key to decrypt the message. Now, someone of you may ask, why not Bob is using Alice's private key and owns private key? Two reasons for this. First, very clear reason is Bob cannot use someone's private key. The name private means it's their key, it cannot be utilized. Okay. Second reason, even if Bob wants to use Alice's private key, he will not be able to decrypt the message. Why? Because the message which is to be sent by Alice to Bob is being encrypted for Bob using Bob's public key. Okay. So it will only get decrypted with Bob's private key. Why? Because in the starting, we discussed about mathematical key pair. Remember, public key, private key is a pair. What does a pair mean? 50%. I'm saying in a very layman language, so all of you might understand. Okay. Okay. So cryptography experts. Okay. I'm not talking into a very, very technical way, a very layman language way. Mathematical combination means 50% of particular formula will be used in creation of public key, and 50% of the formula will be used in creating the private key. Both the key pairs are connected with each other. Both the keys are connected with each other, which means the private key will only function for the public key. The public key will only function for the private key, which means if anyone uses this public key to encrypt the message of Bob, it will only get decrypted using Bob's private key only. So let's say I send a message to Bob, okay, and using Bob's public key, it will get decrypted using Bob's private key only. Why? Because I have used Bob's 50% of the formula to encrypt the mathematical formula. The other 50% is into the private key of Bob, and it can only be decrypted by that. Always remember, you will never ever get confused into the cryptography. Two principles. First is you cannot see anyone's private key. It is their private property. Second is you want to encrypt, you want to send an encrypted message to someone. Obviously, remember the first point. You cannot use someone's private key, so you are going to use the public key. Use their public key to encrypt the message, and then they will use their own private key to decrypt the message. And your public key. So I hope this is clear now with everyone.
Thank you, sir, for explaining one more time. It is very, very useful. Which means, in simple language, that Alice should have the one yellow key and the public key, one blue key, right? Then they should have one yellow and the public, right?
Right. Yep. So I hope this is clear with everyone now, and there will be no more confusions with everyone. So let me just stop sharing my screen. In case anyone has doubts now, you guys can always ask the doubts.
Participants, do you have any other doubts? No more doubts. So we can go to the end of the session. So I thank Jerry and Rohit for the wonderful demonstration of the today's session. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Rohit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So for the participants, tomorrow we are going to enter in a new interesting area, because what will be the future scope of this cyber security. So it will be very, very interesting. So I request all the participants to join with us at 1:50 p.m. itself, so that we can start the session sharply at 2 o'clock. I once again thank all the participants for your active participation in this faculty development program. Also, I thank Jerry, Rohit, and Shifa for their wonderful demonstration and explanation. Once again, thank all of you. Also, I thank my organizing team members, my co-organizer, Andros Madam, then the hosting members, Bright Jose and Varun, then Lady Jones Kumar for your support for organizing this event. Once again, thank all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a nice day.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Bye bye. Bright, please, how many feedbacks were entered?
For 92 feedbacks.
Okay.
Sir, you can use the recording.
See, additional information to all the participants. We are recording all these sessions, and it is hosted in the web page of the faculty development program. Already Varun sir shared that link in the chat window, so you can watch the recorded session